And welcome back to another live stream on the twitch.tv/the Xisuma playing on the Hermitcraft. The bananas are in the chat from the Forgill, from the Becca, from the Lucaro, from the Spooky Dokie. Thank you for the bananas letting me know that we're live on the twitch.tv/the Xisuma. You already said that, you idiot. Oh god, I did, didn't I? Oh, what's wrong with me? What am I doing here? We're digging a hole. It's taken me so long I'm losing my mind. Why? Why must you troll me like this, slobs? What is wrong with you? God, this is how everyone wants to watch the stream. Oh, I wish these Netflix videos would just be in the top right-hand few pixels. That's the way I want to enjoy my entertainment. Oh God, what a top quality content creator we have here. God, getting everything right every time. Oh, jeez, get on my level, people. Come on, I'm ahead of the game. That's what's going on here. Y'all be watching everything in small little screens in the future, trust me. Mark my words. Well, that was a terrific start to another live stream. Forgill says, X, your screen is off. Don't you mean my hotbar? God, that's probably off as well. Oh dear, what are you on, X? Says Becca, I'm on life. I'm on that thing called life, apparently. Right, let me explain what we're doing, okay? We're digging down, then we're going back up. Download X, says Becca. Download X. Oh God! Terrifying noise. I hope I don't hear it again. Oh God, more terrifying noise. Oh! Oh! Jeez, this is making me anxious. I was listening to some calm, chilling, beautiful music. Now I'm fearing for my existence. Oh dear Lord. Oh dear Lord. It's that tango tech, I tell ya. Everything is fine, okay. Everything is fine. Just a normal day on Hermitcraft. Yeah, I knew about this. What we're going to do is just turn down the volume. Which will eventually backfire, you know? On another day. X is breaking the #1 rule of Minecraft. That is true. What's the #2 rule of Minecraft, eh? Who wrote these rules? When did they write them? What is the purpose of such rules? Anyway, this is what I've spent a lot of my time doing lately. And I gotta say, digging the deep slate or blowing it up with TNT, it don't really matter, it all takes a lot of time. But if you caught our stream a couple of days ago, we were working on a slime farm. And, dang, that wither sound is still like there, it's like hypnotic. Ah. Okay, so we end up like one lower. That's fine, that's fine. So we want to go here. Here. There. There. And there. And then that's like a whole row, and then we'll step back and do some clearing out after. So next one, here we go. Apparently my stream time overlay is still at 2 hours. That's really weird because I reset it before I started. Oh, it's broken. It's bugged. Right, and apparently I'm not recording the stream either, so I don't know how long I've been live for, but it starts now, the timer, it starts now. Yeah, something always goes wrong twice. Just finished watching your latest episode of Hermitcraft and I love the base idea so much, says Sharkle. That's cool to hear you say that. I've had so many positive comments on it, like I'm really chuffed, you know? Not just like, hey, that was good, like I've had loads of, wow, this is going to be really cool. And I'm like, oh, yes, it is. So, you know, it's not only the... Actually, you know, because I'm recording the next episode already, it's like... I'm pretty sure I explained the rib concept too, right? I had comments about that. The rib concept is where I think it's really going to go to, like, another level. You could say it was in a weird way inspired by what I was originally going to do last season for a base, but it's kind of wasn't. Even though those are sort of technically similar, my idea came about a different way, so if anyone out there is making a link, it's not actually a link there. It's super unique, says Arnout. Thank you. Yeah, I'm always looking for a way to do something different in this game, right? Having played it for so long. And it's certainly an idea that gives me different playstyle. But in a weird way, as I said in the video, it's sort of like Season 7, you know? It's got that, that link to Season 7 for sure. Are the ribs going to stick out of the mountains, says Skyfighter? It's all been carefully designed, and that will not happen. Will not happen. The Bee King says I've been going crazy fast on LP3. Do you mean let's play Minecraft together, Free? If so, one of the joys of this game can be taking your time a little bit. Hey, I think this here might cause me some issues, so I'm actually going to fill that in. Like, I'm taking my time. I could have really, like, head charged into some of these projects, but when you take your time, I don't know, things just come to you. You get a little more inspired. When you're trying to pump out, you know, this farm to build that farm, you end up just building, you know, the same old designs or someone else's because it's convenient. I spent time in a creative world the other day building my own tree farm, and I've always looked at them and gone, too difficult, you know. And this time I was like, no, I'm like, I want to spend some time learning the redstone mechanics and goofing around. And I actually came up with a design that's like, I don't know if it's efficient or in some sort of category of usefulness, but it works, and it was fun to make, and it looks cool when it runs, and it's got slime blocks and honey blocks everywhere, and it's it was fun to make, that's for sure. Right, on to the next one. X, did you take any inspiration from your base on anime on Attack of the Titan? I did not. I've read tons of comments of people thinking that I took inspiration from this thing or that thing. I basically just wanted to fly around a giant ribcage, right? I don't know how it started, but I was just looking at skeletal stuff. I think that must have been where it started. I was looking at skeletons and just thinking about like what I could do. Maybe I started with the idea that I was going to build like a, I don't know, some sort of skeletal shape in the ground. It was probably just wanting to build a skull. I've always wanted to do a skull. And I think looking at the skeletons gave me the idea to extend the skull and then be like, what if it's not just the skull? What if it's like the ribcage too? And then you fly around the ribcage, right? I think that's probably the way it came to be. I don't really remember because it was a while ago and I wasn't taking notes. It was just all happening. It was like, oh, this idea, that idea, you know? Being Choir Boy, thank you for 61 months. That is officially the one, the only Evil X representing. Where are we at here? Okay, I did place 2 of those. Mikey Gammy, thank you for 6 months of support. Spooky, scary skeletons send shivers down my spine. But X decides to go live in 1. I thought you were starting a poem then. What are you? Some sort of sentient tentacle thing? Making an exoskeleton for yourself? Thank you, my dude. I mean, that started like a poem, man. You should have kept on that note. That was cool. And Beta and Daniel, 15 months, saying like, subscribe, share, shout out to the world. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate your continued support. We also got Azuki 15 here for 6 months, half a year. Another half yearer. And Spooky Doki's here for 50. Where did the time go? The time goes. That's what time does. It goes away from you. Remember that. Time. You only get less of time with time. So make the most of it. Make it count. Have fun. X, did you post your YouTube video being live? Because I didn't get a ping on there. I couldn't be bothered today, so I just posted a picture instead. Yeah, I usually do an announcement video, but I was just like, probably why we got less peeps today, but I'm feeling like I just want to relax. I've had actually quite a relaxing day, although my workout, dang, gave me some like back stress. I don't know, everything's tight back there. I need to do some yoga later and work it out. But yeah, I love my new routine. The morning, I've taken it easier. Not putting stress on myself. Feels really good. Oh, physical stress. But not mental stress. Be right back to laptops, says Sunny Zero. That reminds me of a topic that I want to come back to later on in this live stream. I want to discuss potentially getting a laptop. But I'll wait until more peeps are tuned in, as I'm hoping to get a bit of useful advice, perhaps. Alright, last one for this row. Hey X, what has been your favourite season so far? Says Brooding Ceiling. Oh. Oh, right, we're right next to where I dug before. That makes total sense now. Season 6 and 7 and Season 4. I feel like... Yeah, I feel like those were the best. I mean, I get asked this so many times. I always give different answers. Each season's different, and then you reflect on them differently at different times. But there was a real stride to 6 and 7. I think the one mistake, though, is that Season 7 should have gone on for a lot longer. Ah, made a mistake here. I need to get more sand and TNT. Yeah, I reckon... like, if I could go back and make a change... I would probably say that we shouldn't have done Season 8. I mean, you have to do Season 8 to learn about doing a short season and trying all the various things that the Hermits tried, right, and then learned from. Maybe I'm speaking more for myself there, but yeah, I feel like Season 7 should have gone on for like another half year, a year if we had thought about it. And now this season, I feel like I'm settling in for a long run. I hope that momentum stays with the group. I just feel like I've missed that so much, this continuous story of a Hermitcraft world, and there's some magic in the longevity, and I think we knew that, but maybe we lost sight of it a little bit. We could have done more at the end of Season 7, and Season 7 just had so much remarkable stuff going on inside of it as well. Trying to not take full damage with these wings. Yeah, there we go. Right, I believe I placed a sand, that's correct. Bertie J 373 is here for 41 months. Thank you so much, my dude. Hello there, hope the grind is going well. It's going slow. I mean, actually, it's a bit of it in fun, but it is slow. It reminds me of mining stone back before you had enchantments. And we got a donation here. Noise in that ear. From Mikey Gammy, our poet who didn't know it, who's decided to step up to the game. I love it. Since you don't seem to know the song, it goes like, spooky scary skeletons send shivers down your spine, shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seals your doom tonight. I'm kind of shocked you haven't heard of this song. Oh, my friend, there are gazillions of songs out there. And, you know, everyone's attention is in different places, right? I mean, especially these days. Like, in the past, I think there was more of a case for songs that were a bit more universal that everyone knew, because that's the nature of culture, is a little more centralized. Back in the day. These days, though, we're all in our little internet echo chambers, right? But thank you so much for the donation. And I guess that isn't your poetry then, it's someone else's, if I'm understanding correctly. Still very cool lyrics. And now very cool explosions, right? Although I don't have night vision, so we just have to kind of trust the process a little bit. And yeah, look at that. Wow. Still ongoing. Dang, okay. So, over here we had a bit of an explosion. What we need to do is start to shape this all up. So I need to preserve these contours, like so, and dig down and basically take the shape that we've just exploded and make sure it's all kind of uniform. A lot of blocks will be lost. I think I'm going to have to trim out this line here. And then as for this corner, I don't think I want to go too much further than here. Aha! Oh, actually, it's got to stay there. So, yep, now you're looking at the process. What I have to do over and over again. quite a bit of work. So over on this side though, the explosion kind of brings us over to this point. Tango, we need a lot of stars to cover the whole interior. I guess that's why we're hearing so many wither explosions, right? And those TNT explosions, those were loud considering I got the volume turned down. Right, one thing you might notice, I've got both Silk Touch and the other pick on my hotbar. And my inventory is full, which is not really a great way to start doing what we're trying to do. Okay then. This is where ye old scaffolding comes in handy. Riffraff says, how is he setting off so many so quickly? Because I've placed all the blocks and then I'm just going through the motions of setting them all off, I guess. Okay, so it's the regular deep slate I kind of actually need to hold on to a bit more. Cool. Alright, we've got a gifted sub from Oops My Apollo Cheese. Apollo Cheese. Oh god, I got it wrong. To Yo, Mama Claire. Mama Claire, be sure to say thanks in the chat and thank you for gifting the sub. Oops Apollo Cheese. I have a hot cup of tea that needs drinking here. X, do you have any advice on how to handle a job interview? I have one tomorrow. I'm very nervous because it's my first time going to one, says Ghost Lily. Yeah, I feel like I don't have advice that is relatable because my first job interview, I was dead nervous, but when I sat down, the first thing the bloke said was, well, basically, you got the job. And I was like, oh, that makes my life easier. Here's something you should always think of, though. To worry... Oh, God, that's a little bit too in your face. To worry is to suffer twice. Okay? And a lot of the time, a lot of our problems, a lot of our issues in life that we all have, we all go through, it all stems from thinking, right? There's doing and there's thinking. And, you know, whatever happens at your job interview won't kill you. It won't be the end of the world if you don't get it. Yeah, all that thinking beforehand, that always seems to be where the trouble is, right? It's not the doing. And so, for me to go, don't think about it, not particularly helpful. But practicing and learning how to not think about something, to not focus on it, is actually possible. It's something that I do. And so I find, personally, all the things that tend to trip me up and make me anxious, and over time I've analysed them and figured out what these things are, and it's helped me take control and, you know, not dwell and analyse on certain things that tick me off as much. So I don't know what I would be like going to a job interview these days, but I know I'd be better than I was in the past, and I think the key thing is that I just wouldn't think about it in the same way, right? So I think one of the things that can really help you is to think about it in a preparedness way, and like I'm going to try my best, you know? Don't listen to those thoughts that say, oh, you're not good enough and you'll look silly. Those are not helpful thoughts. They're not worth engaging with. But there are other thoughts you can think about, like, what kind of questions can I expect and what answers might I have? I think it's important to, like, ground your answers in truth and honesty as well. Otherwise, you'll be trying to recite a bunch of lines that don't make sense. And hopefully you'll have someone that will respect your honesty as well. If, you know, they ask you a question, you know, maybe it's a job with, like, people skills. You know, are you good with people? You're like, well, I'm not bad with people, but I'm not, you know, Mr. Super duper social, but I'm willing to learn and give it my best. You know, hopefully you'll have someone that responds to honesty. You know, more than not, because I think honesty is an important trait, and transparency and communication with people is really important too. You know, if they might be asking you about things they kind of know is not really the end of the world if you don't know this thing or that thing, and if you prompts that you're willing to learn, that's probably a good signal to send. Curls says it's also important to keep in mind that when you don't get the job interview will have given you valuable experience for the next time. Everything is always increasing your experience, no matter the result. Yes, very good, very good. You know, you can learn something. You can think of it like that already. Get it or not, you come out of it with some more experience, and that's a win, right? So it's the doing. If you do it, it'll be a win. If you don't go, then you won't be able to gain any experience. So Just the fact that you're going to go is good enough, right? There's something to be gained there. Oh, that's some good tea. Good tea. I was also using this earlier as well. I've just realised I've been using Silk Touch a lot, where I want to use this one too, right? So yeah, as we go, we can pick some of these back up. I'm just wondering how close to the edge we actually are just back there. It might be worth digging it all the way across. Let's find out. Oh, that might not be good enough. Oh no, it's way out. It's way out, so we wouldn't want to do that. We'd be wasting our time and energy. Alright. And what about this bit here? It looks pretty solid after that point. Oh yeah, that's because I was mining it down to here. Okay. Concrete Grinder says, hello Xisuma, I hope you're well. I'm considering getting a Fitbit, a bit expensive for me, but I'd like to start being on point with calorie counting and all. Any tips for a beginner? Lots of love for you and all you do. If it is on the expensive side and you're cutting into your pocket a little bit and maybe you don't want to splash out like that, with the Fitbit, you know, it's a steps counter and it can give you some useful insight into how well you're sleeping and other metrics as well. But you know, when you're just getting started, it's maybe better to start without spending. I say this about a lot of stuff, like there is a bit of a illusion of sort of like, hey, I've spent money on this, this is the beginning of progress or whatever, but the progress is usually doing. So I would say, you know, if you're wanting to get fitter and healthier, maybe just start with making sure you can like get a couple of extra walks in a day, you know? Sort of look at your daily routine and add a little bit more to it and just start there. And if you like that kind of thing, you start getting into it, you're enjoying taking a bit more control of yourself, and then maybe further down the line a Fitbit is kind of useful for you. To be honest, I think it can be pretty useful out of the gate for someone just starting, but always probably smarter to... Wow! Night of the Living Dead over here. Yeesh. He's up for... How many of there are you? Oh god. Almost killed me. And that's not cool. Yeah. Right, we got some subs coming in. They must have all got like crowded up in one of these caves or something. Okay, we want to eat first apparently. JKL's 1998, thank you for 15 months of support and dropping in with a sub bomb, supporting the community, which is always appreciated. If you... Dang it, I've got to eat again. If you hear your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in the chat. Yes, lighting up these caves is necessary. Bluetooth Goldfish, Lil Stu 23, Tamarap 86, Grosh Jr 20, Senare, Cosmic Moonlight, Fat Grills, Pazkuda, Wade 9, Mouse in a Boot. Y'all have been gifted them subs. Kels, the message you shared I actually just read straight from chat. Jay Puckle says that Fitbit have a lot of cheap models under $50 as well. And in my experience, their accuracy is pretty good, but it's how you use the device that makes it accurate. Like, I had to, you know, use it consistently, and when I say consistently, I mean not like use it every day, but use it in the same way with my calorie counting. And then I started to, you know, sort of fine-tune it and figure out exactly, roughly where... you know, the numbers it was giving me would line up with something like my MyFitnessPal, which is what I use to count calories. And ever since, been really happy with it. Feel like it gives me a lot of control and agency over what I want to eat. You know, I have my daily routine where things are structured and kept on point. And then if I do have something where I can't count calories, if I'm treating myself, whatever, it's like... And then I come back to my routine and, you know, just get straight back on track, you know. Goofy Me, thank you for 4 months of support. Greatly appreciated. I hope you're enjoying the stream we're doing here today. Where are we at with this wall over here then? That's part of the bit we're mining. I'm not sure about the bit next to it. There's a block missing there. Oh, it looks like I've accidentally dug out like a bunch of what I shouldn't have dug out over on that bit. Or, oh, it goes there again. Oh, okay. Well, we'll put that back in now while we can see what the issue is. Hard for me to tell where you're reading the message from, says Curls. Well, I picked one out of chat and it happened to be the same one you picked out, so that was that, I guess. Do you have a specific diet? Xisuma says Bowl. Well, my diet, you know, I'm not on a diet. My diet is my diet, is the way I think about it. What I eat is my diet. So I tend to aim to have a fair amount of like veg and salad and have fruit every day, a couple of pieces of fruit. I guess coffee's now a part of my diet. And I eat meat as well. Try not to eat too much meat, but I don't know. It feels like I eat more than I say I should. I also use like casein and whey, like supplements for protein. Have a very high protein diet, like 130 grams minimum. More if I'm working out that day. And that really works for me because protein makes me feel very full up, which helps. Try to keep it lower carb. Try and avoid those sugary carbs. You know, vegetable carbs I'm fine with. And that's kind of what my diet looks like. A lot of whole foods, a lot of cooking. And then the result is like once or twice a week I can have a takeaway, have a bit of fun. Have you seen the Nether Hub? I saw the Nether Hub when Tango was designing it and I was like, this is brilliant. And yeah, I'm not sure when we get to show it like in-game and start hooking stuff up to it. I really would really like to know what we're doing there because I don't know, when I look at the hub I'm like, are we gonna like put things in the wall? Like how do we connect? Because we want to maintain the illusion that Tango's created, obviously. Oh yeah, I don't have wings, yikes. Hooray for fall damage, or feather falling, that's the one. Oh look, this didn't get set off. I think Tango might be done. I saw some chatter, so let's go put this back up. 15 is actually where I'm supposed to have it normally. Russell Wood, thank you for your 16 months of support, my dude. Very much appreciated. Hope you're entertained. Bam. Oh yeah, around the corner here, you're going to see... I was thinking of making the floor out of this stuff so that when the slimes spawn in it, it'd create a bunch of particle effects. I'm not sure if I really... It's not that aesthetically charming. It's interesting, but nothing special. Cole Mick, thank you for 14 months of support, my dude. Greatly appreciated. As always, hope you're entertained. That is what we try to do here, just entertain. Can you dig it out with moss? That is another option, to be fair. Using moss is not the worst idea ever, really, is it? Okay, I'm not sure exactly where we're leveling things out around here. And everything I'm doing right now, just like trying to carve out all these odd blocks that are being left behind. Like this feels like a downside to using TNT. It really does. It leaves you with a lot of work to do. Tango said he will set up the start of tunnels with some pattern to follow and ask HH8 for help. Well, that sounds great. That sounds like he's got a plan. Hopefully I can be a part of that. I haven't really done much HHH this season. I wanted to be a part of Doc's Perimeter and then something came up and then something came up again on a Monday. Just been like that, I guess. It's like that, huh? And that's the way it is. Alright, there we go. That's most, if not all, of the floor. So now we want to kind of, resume. Be really good probably to have night vision. I might actually have night vision in... Oh yeah, that old thing again. I might have night vision... Ah, dang it. Might have it in one of these boxes. Oh yeah, look. Invisibility. Well, oh, dang it, I got the wrong ones. Oh well. Need like a Cub fan delivery service when I'm lazy. Alcohol was a very good artist I found because of you, says Kiyoma. That's great to hear. He's also a Twitch streamer playing Minecraft, if you did not know. Oof, right. Downwards we go again. So Tango has explained where the tunnels and stuff will go. Cool. Yeah, I haven't watched all his videos or all of the other Hermit's videos, so I'm out of the loop. X, to properly experience the hub, you should turn off the fog in the Nether. It breaks the illusion. I know you don't use Optifine, but some mob maybe could do that. Oh right, yeah. No, I don't use Optifine, and I won't do. I like using the other ones. Optifine on my system doesn't improve. It worsens. Funny enough, the frame rates tank when using Optifine, so I've always had an incentive not to use it because I value my frames, I guess. Yeah, the whole turning off the fog thing, it's just something I've never done, and so I don't even think of doing that. Well, those blocks would actually stay, I guess, wouldn't they? So yeah, we're trying to preserve our shape all the way down to the bottom, and that's where having the TNT explode just makes this extra slow and stuff, I guess. Black Steel, thank you ever so much for gifting subs to Royal Blue Jay 91, Emerald Worm, Dolgihenashata, jeez, probably butchered that one right, Jack Snife 21 and Shenk over 2 months, Cole Mix here for 14. Thank you again, Black Steel. If you heard your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in the chat. Also, Licky Sticky Icky here for 32 months saying, Hex, if you've ever wondered about anything being a money pit, you should try restoring a VW Beetle, but in my case, it's worth it to spend time with my dad. $3 grand into an engine, and I just found out it needs framework. Oh, money pit is in like a money sink. Got ya. Yeah, I mean, what is the value of your time though, right? Like if it's towards something that you derive value from, then it's up to you to decide how much that is worth. I was actually listening to a book about money today. Most of the lessons in it were kind of things I already knew, but I like hearing them again to try and drill them in a bit deeper. And one of them was about like cost, I forget the term, cost value or something, time value. It's like the trick is like people will go out and spend if you give them coupons. So if you mark up the price and then give them coupons, they would spend more but perceive it as being valuable because this coupon tells them they're getting money off. So as I've said before when talking about money, like the price is the price, and really you need to be able to make your own like judgment value on what something is worth to you. You can use other products and things as a frame of reference, but you know, like Pokemon cards are more valuable to a collector than they would be to me, right? So certain things have different values, and it's better to, I think, focus on what the end price is as opposed to factors like, oh, is there, 20% off? And it talks about a few other illusions as well of money, of like when something is explained as like, spending 80% or saving 20%, and how psychologically you assess those as almost as if they're different amounts, yet they end up being the same. So like your psychological experience of money and how you spend it is a wise thing to analyze and look at. Help you make some smarter decisions, Optifine seems to be tanking for me as well. Is there a mod that you know of that works with fabric to help brighten the Nether? There probably is, you'd have to search for it. But to my knowledge, which is limited because I don't really fish around for mods too much, I haven't seen one. I haven't gone looking for one, right? No fog. I mean, that might just be the name of it, right? No fog. Puppet 2007753. Thank you for subscribing with the Prime. Greatly appreciated. Hope you're having a good one. No fog might also be enough. Try Starlight for performance. I have not tried Starlight. I did not like the description of it. It sort of said it's experimental. It fundamentally changes a lot of stuff. It hasn't been tested a lot. It will probably break things. I read the description and I was like, yeah, this is more on the experimental side, it would seem. And usually with mods, you know, if you make one and fire it up, you'll see all the stuff you've changed, and then the, I guess, unintentional changes might emerge later on. So I tend just not to bother with stuff like that. Rather use the stuff that's better tested, closer to vanilla, you know. Right, we've chiseled away at a fair bit of this, and now you can see what we're doing over there. Needs some attention again. A little lower than this though. Let's mine this platform down a bit. Optifine is less of a performance mod nowadays, as it is more moved to QOL, quality of life, yeah. Also, I've read some criticisms of Optifine about how it's closed source and what kind of issues that creates here and there, which I found to be quite compelling, really. It sounds like with it being closed source, it's harder to work with and maybe better for modding in general, not to rely on it, which Fabric, you know, getting sort of bigger and bigger as time goes by. I mean, Fabric might have, in some ways, already, I don't know, like replaced CurseForge. I mean, it hasn't replaced it, right? CurseForge is still there, but it certainly seems like Fabric has some big advantages over CurseForge, and more mod packs now seem to embrace Fabric. Okay, there we go. I was just watching your video on curries and wanted to say, wanted to check if you're online and Viola. Well, I'm online, and I got no curry waffle for you because I haven't had a curry. Apologies, I know I'm terrible. I had a homemade curry. That's different, isn't it? I have those all the time. Anyway, next time I have like a mega pig out curry, I'm going to take some pictures of it, but I don't know when I'm going to do that because I just haven't really felt like it in a while. Curry waffle doesn't sound so good, to be fair. What, curry on a waffle? I don't know, that sounds kind of amazing. Love waffles. Yeah, I think I'm missing stuff on that side, but you know, it's just, this whole process is just super tricky. Maybe what we'll do on the next one is we'll put the TNT closer together and see if we get like a more consistent blast that might help with all of this stuff. If all the curry in the world vanished, what would you do? Eat salads? I mean, you know. Japuckle says, what's curry? I've never tried it. Well, there's a whole video on my Xisuma Says channel about this. You should head over there and watch it. It's 14 minutes of me waffling about how much I love curry. I mean, to give you a quick summary of what curry is, it's Indian cuisine. It revolves a lot around spices, really interesting flavors, and it's mostly, you know, you can get all your curry dishes with meat, but where it excels is the vegetable dishes. You know, onion bhajis, sag paneers, all the other vegetables that they cook with are really good. I tend to get a vegetable masala or something like that, or whatever it is. You know, the dishes usually people go for like chicken, lamb, and all that. I like the vegetable ones. Curry's like, oh man, it just, the flavor gets so into the vegetables, it's really good. Okay, there we go. Have you ever thought about going on discussion/debate panels? Not really. don't know, like... My main thing about all the stuff that I talk about is ignorance, right? So it's like if you invited me to a panel, I mean, I'm going to assume people are there are knowledgeable and experts, and I'm going to be the one who's like, I'm ignorant, here's what I think, I'm ignorant. I don't know. Like, that's my whole shtick when I talk about stuff. It's like, I start at ignorance, right? Start there, because that's the thing we mostly are to most of the stuff in the world. I'm starting to think X doesn't like vegetables, so he soaks them in spices from the curry to eat them. No, I love my vegetables, man. Like, plain, seasoned, drowned in curry. It's all good to me. All good to me. What was I eating the other day? I had something the other day that was just like... I had some salad the other day, and I was like, oh god, this is so good. Like, just straight up iceberg lettuce or something. But I remember eating something really plainly cooked the other day and just thinking it was gorgeous. I can't remember what it was, but I love my vegetables. They taste so good. Are you strictly vegetarian or just like a veggie curry that much? I just love a vegetable curry. Like, I do like certain things that have meat in, but my thing with meat is that it always feels like, and there's the meat, right? So when I have a curry, it's like curry plus meat, right? It's just same old meat. Chicken breasts, chicken thigh, lamb, whatever. But then if you have vegetables, they just soak in so much flavor. They're really like interesting and textures, you know, because you don't just get one vegetable, right? Like if you have a meat curry, it's like one type of meat in it, whereas vegetables, they come in a variety. So I guess there's more like, you know, variety. There's more going on when you pick out the old vegetable curry. Are we doing it again? Are we just like on another curry waffle? Is it just, it always happens, as much as I try. I had chicken pizza today. I really felt like here's your meat. It definitely didn't fit. Pizza, I always like meat on a pizza. I can eat it without. I think for me, it might be different with pizza because you have things like salami or pepperoni on a pizza, right? Like, and those are different. Those are like curated meats. They've been given a bit more flavor. That's an interesting observation, actually. When meat is not just like there's the meat, it would be pepperoni, salami, those kind of curated meats. I think that's the right term, right? Curated. I almost ordered a pizza today, though. Been craving one for a while, and I was trying to order an English breakfast from the place I like, and it weren't on the app, and I was like, oh man, what's up with that? They're just down the road. Like, I can see they're open. I can look out my window and see they're open. Anyway, they were on a different app, and I was like, oh, that's strange. Why is it not on the other one? Anyway, by the time I ordered it, it was on the app, so I was like, okay, I'll have that. I almost ordered myself a bit of a pizza. Calzone, something like that. Wouldn't it be nice? Cured meats, says Fire Chief. Ah, right. That's one of those things where I just get the wrong term stuck in my head and then it sticks. So it's cured meats, not curated, right. A mad criminal made pizza with sushi. That sounds cool. I'm so down to try anything. I really want to eat a pizza with kiwi on it at some point because I love kiwi. Yeah, kiwis are great. But yeah, I'm just not fussy with food. It's like if someone's like, "Here, look, I put this abomination on a pizza," I'm like, "Let's eat, let's try it." Don't tell me what it is. I'll eat it. Blueberry pizza. I mean, here's the thing: if you make a pizza with like a waffle type base, you know, then you can put sweet stuff on it like berries and make it kind of look like a pizza. I guess you probably couldn't throw cheese in the mix there, but yeah, I guess there are some things that you can't mix together, right? Like, can you mix cheese and fruit? I know that you can mix like chutneys and cheese go well, and then something like raspberry and cheese in a sandwich can be pretty good actually. But blueberries and cheese, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think we might be breaking some rules if we do that. The rules of cuisine. Mine Hoarder, thank you for 3 months. 3 months into watching you or listening to your stream in the background while I work. Always fun to listen to you talk about curry. Why do people love it so much? It's probably the enthusiasm. It's the enthusiasm, isn't it? Oh, and I tell you what, actually, when it comes to curry, the thing that I want to do, that I really want to do, is find new curry houses, new curry places. I was in London the other day, and there was this incredible looking, or sounding, should I say, because I had to look it up, sounding Indian street food stall, and it was like, it had a lot of the stuff that you see in typical curry houses, but it had loads of other amazing, interesting sounding dishes, and I'm like, I need some of that, you know, I need some of that right there. I need to find out what this Indian street food is, because it's like the curry house stuff, but there's all this other stuff on the menu. Dang. I need an excuse to go to London and eat there, you know? I could just get on a train and go by myself, but I feel like that was just, I don't know. Probably a bit much. Probably a bit much. Kodishi, thank you for 55 months of support. Greatly appreciated, and I hope you're enjoying this stream where we just dig and talk about curry. God. How does it always happen, eh? Indian street food, did you see hookah / samosa chat? Yeah, those sound like the sort of things that are on the menu. I've had samosa chat before, though. Yeah, I've tried quite a lot of different Indian dishes, but I want to try more. Xisuma talking about curry is like Star talking about Star Wars. Yep, you got it. It is. It really is, isn't it? Some good water. I feel like the temperature's getting hot, and I need to like invest in ice cubes in my freezer or something. Like I need those cool beverages now. That's the kind of temperatures that are coming along. It's funny because here in the UK, most of the year it's like kind of cold and mild, and like you're waiting for summer, and then when summer comes, it's always like too hot, and you're like, I wish it were milder again. I just want like mild but sunny days. That'll do me. Cold tap water for the win. Actually, yeah, to be fair, if I leave the tap running for a minute, it will chill out. So these bottles have just been sitting around it for too long, that's all. Should have refilled them before I started stream. On other consumables, like coffee, I got some ideas today for other things to try in my coffee, like coconut oil, or was it creamed coconut? I've got both. And cinnamon was another one I'm going to try. Might make a decaf tomorrow and have cinnamon in it and see what that's like. Well, that was a pretty cool sounding one to try. Cinnamon coffee for the win, says Shinny. It does sound cool, doesn't it? It sounds sweet and scrumptious. The thing is, I tried cinnamon in porridge and I like put spoonfuls of the stuff in and it didn't really like do it. Didn't like really give it much kick at all. So maybe I'm using the wrong cinnamon. The cinnamon spice that I have might be like really old as well. Because like when I moved in, I like brought loads of spices and then didn't really cook with them. So it might be like super out of date and lost all its flavour or something silly. You can buy sweet cinnamon and that's better. Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe I need to like, maybe I've just got like the basic kind of stuff and there's perhaps more variety, more options out there. Okay, so now we want to get into this groove here. Huh. Yeah, this is where we want to chip away at the blocks. And then where's the next one after here? Right there. Might not really be that worthwhile chipping away at these edges because the next row of TNT might annihilate it, but who knows, who knows, we're just digging, that's all we can do. I mean, we're approaching an hour, we've been here for 45 minutes, and I feel like this hole is going to take me probably another 3 or 4 hours in total at this rate. And I would like it to be less. Ah, look, it chipped out loads on the corner here when the explosions went off, that's what it was. Right, I think we're also sort of getting to a point where I'm just going to have to leave it, otherwise we'll spend forever trying to sort out those couple of little bits. I should really collect that redstone, shouldn't I? There we go. Coconut oil tastes like lotion, smells, and it freaks me out. That's because they use like the coconut smell and stuff in lotions. Right, anyway, eat food, then back to the top. Also, this pillar here, I kind of need to protect a little bit for the TNT explosion. Let's see. If I start it about here... Well, I guess I can do it this way. I can go up, can't I? Oh, I've got no TNT. Oh, what a wally. What a wally. Here we go. Gonna need to find some more sand as well. That's just sandstone. And I think my other box of sand is lying around here somewhere. It's got to be, right? Unless that was it. No, that wasn't it. There it is. Ah! Oh, we got loads. We got loads. Okay. Okay then. Oof. Oh, I'm sweating over here. Does oatmeal count as porridge? Says Aetherwart. They're the same thing as I understand it. I believe we've probably had a waffle about that before because that's what they call it in the US, right? They call it oatmeal. And yet there's no oatmeal over here in the UK. But there is porridge and they're the same thing. Okay, let's do this. Yes, I've got to eat as well. Dang it! Chicken Flap says my first stream. Well, welcome to the internet and the world of streaming, where you can listen to this buffoon waffle on about curries and stuff. Yeah. Let's have a non-food question in chat. All right. Let's talk about something deep. Laptop, says Lucaro. Oh, thanks for the reminder. Okay, not a deep conversation, but here's the dealio. I want to get a new laptop. The laptop that I got, I brought it for editing videos on the go and stuff, and never did that with it. But I also learned that it wasn't really capable of that after I brought it. Reason being that the graphics card wasn't that good, and I had trouble trying to benchmark and figure out how good the graphics card was on it, because laptop graphics cards are sort of named very similar to, if not the same, as the ones in PCs, yet they're not the same hardware. And so I brought something kind of under the impression that it was one thing, and I checked the benchmark on it and all was good, and it turned out it was just another thing altogether. Oh, look at that. Look at it go. Explosions. Beautiful explosion. Cool. So yeah, so my laptop wasn't that good for what I wanted to use it for, and I never actually really got around to using it to edit videos on the go, and I was like, alright, you know, fair enough. So I had this thought recently of like, let's get a new laptop because I want to start traveling more. So I've been looking at what laptop I could get, and first of all, it's going to be pricey to be able to like record and edit videos on it. And second of all, it's like the graphics cards are like, you know, the 370, the 380, the TI, the RTX, whatever it's called. But when I go look it up, you can find benchmarks for the desktop equivalent. But what you can't find is like the equivalent on the laptop, and it gets very confusing when you try and look up benchmarks for it. So I've been kind of like umming and ahhing a little bit, and I think essentially what I'm going to have to do is just pick what sounds like the best thing, essentially, like the most powerful, so I know that I'm going to get something that works, hopefully, what I wanted to do. And with having a little more time on my hands as of late, you know, I'm still working on all these videos and other things, but I have a little bit more time to potentially work on something like setting up a new laptop. Right, here's where I want to like shield that redstone down there a bit, so we're going to start here and possibly just put a bit more around that edge. Which CPU we'll be going with? I'm going to be kind of limited on my options, so here's like another factor, right? Like, my eyes aren't great, and I kind of need like a larger screen to look at, so I can't get a 15-inch screen on a laptop. It's got to be like at least 17. So like once you start adding in these sorts of parameters, your options go down a little bit. But I found something where I can get a large screen at 1080p. I don't want anything more than 1080 because I feel like it would just be wasted CPU power in terms of like my eyes. Like, I'm not gonna see the higher resolutions, so like, what's the point? That rendering power could be put towards FPS as opposed to the resolution that it's trying to render. Laptop GPUs and processors are always nerfed compared to their desktop counterparts to save power, says Captain Tronics. Yeah, I think saying they're nerfed gives the wrong impression. I think just saying that they're different because they're 4 laptops is right. The issue is they give them the same name, so then you might expect the same performance. I don't expect the same performance, but I want to find out what the performance is. Another thing I considered as well is now that I have done some sponsorships on my channel, I thought it would be great if maybe there was like a laptop company or something that wanted to reach out and do some form of integration. I remember Iskal did an episode of Hermitcraft on his laptop and was like, hey, they sent me a laptop and I recorded the whole episode on it, and it's just like a normal episode. If I could do something like that, it'd be great, but I tried reaching out and haven't heard anything as of yet, and probably not going to get anywhere with that. So I might just like pay for it out of my own pocket and you know, get what I want out of it. Have you looked up Asus ROG, says Holes. I have. When it comes to those gaming laptops, the problem is for me is the specs. It tends to go, you know, super high quality on the screen on a 15-inch one, and I'm trying to get, you know, a large screen at 1080p because that's all I need. Like, I don't want the money to go into features that I can't take advantage of. In the spectrum of laptops, they're equivalent on the PC parts with their name, but the standard is generally lower on laptops, says J Puckle. Yeah. That's I think we've sort of established that, but the issue is I then can't get a benchmark, right? Like, I'm used to buying hardware and looking at benchmark websites to get a rough idea of like what I can expect, you know? Where I've upgraded a GPU in the past, it's like you look at the benchmark and it's like, oh, if I get this one, I'm going to get 20% extra performance for, you know, this amount of money, and this one, if I put a bit more in, I'll get 50. That seems like it's worth it, you know. I want to be able to benchmark what performance I would get against my computer, but I just haven't figured out how you do that with laptops. It's just not the same, really. Spano is here for 42 months saying, the meaning of life in the universe and everything is. That old joke, it will never go away, will it? It will never go away. Thank you, Badger, greatly appreciated. Hope you're entertained. Go for an expensive Asus ROG. I'm still very happy with my 7-year-old laptop, says Mick Mokum. Yeah, as I said a moment ago, like, I appreciate someone saying, hey, get this one, but like, it doesn't, I've looked at those and it doesn't quite fit my specs. It's another reason why I don't give advice when someone says, what laptop should I buy? Because I'm like, well, I'm not like a laptop enthusiast, and I also don't know what you want to use your laptop for, right? If I tell you to get an Asus ROG and all you want to do is use Notepad on it, it's a waste of money. But yeah, I mean, you know, I want to edit videos and whatnot on it, but yeah, I also don't want a ridiculous monitor like I've seen some of them have, because it'd just be a waste of money on me. Just don't go for HP. Yeah, HP definitely not a brand that would interest me. I'm not aware of them having a good track record of any of this stuff. "17-inch gaming laptop, you don't have much options and going to be pricey," says Tyromo. You'd be surprised. I've kind of found a setup which is sort of what I want. And when I compare it to one of those ROG ones, it's like I can get it at a similar price to the ROG one, but then all the features aren't skewed the right way. It's sort of like that monitor just soaks up so much of the price. So yeah, I found options for a 17-inch monitor laptop, that's for sure. Right, I think what I needed to have done is just set up a bit more of this TNT blasting stuff, really. Let's set up the next two and then clear all this space out. Bert Potato says that they have a custom gaming laptop from Cyber Power Systems. I might have a look at them if they're based in the UK. I was going to buy from a place I bought computers from before, just since experience with them being reliable. Scan Computers sold me a laptop for 1,400 that turned up in Audi less than a year later for 500 quid. That's another reason not to shop with Scan. As someone who will put a company on a bad list, I guess you could say, and not buy from them, Scan are on my bad list after... It was so long ago, like... But I still just... I remember it so well. They would have, like, adverts, first of all, for, like, discounted RAM and stuff on the website, and then when you clicked on it and like went to the checkout, it was only when you got to the checkout they told you the offer wasn't available. And then I ordered a GPU from them, and the GPU had a free game with it, right? So I ordered the GPU and they tell me that like it's not in stock, they're having issues, I have to wait. And then when they finally get it to me, there's no free game with it, and I'm like, where's my free game? And they're like, oh, we sold all the free games already. There's none left. And I think it's like the one time where I've been on the phone to like, you know, some poor guy in customer service just doing their job and like really trying to kick up a stink and like ask for the manager and stuff, and like it just went nowhere. Like even the manager was just like, don't care. And I was like, right, okay, they're on my not buying from list now, and so I don't buy from Scan after that. And of course, every time someone tells me a similar story about them, it just adds to my bias. And I have heard, you know, a couple of anecdotal stories here and there. So that's what they are, but to me, it just gave me the wrong impression. I love my Razer, but they're so expensive and probably have features that you don't need. I've a Blade 14 for 4 years now, it's still great performance. The only thing is replace the battery yearly, because I use it all the time and it gets so hot. They say, for gaming laptops, as I've done some research into it, always use it plugged in wherever you can. And apparently the GPUs will underperform if they're running off the battery deliberately because of heat and stuff. For me, most use cases I'm going to have it plugged in, so I probably won't suffer with those kind of issues. Their customer service is great if you do own something of theirs, but yeah, not for actual products, says Badger. There was a company that I ordered from in the UK, I think they were called Araya, and they helped me with like my crippling PC issue, which turned out to be I just needed a newer Windows 10 disk because I had one so old that it kind of like locked the computer into some weird issues with the drivers. And like it had nothing to do with them. I brought like different hardware from them, but they were kind enough to take the time to like hear about my PC issues and help me with it. And so now whenever I buy something from the PC, I just go to their website and look and see if it's on there as well, because I'm like, I remember that and I value that. So if I can spend my money here again instead of Amazon, I will. I mean, and it's not a small thing either, really, if you think about it. Like, it was kind of like going to affect my livelihood, you know. I'm a video maker, I need my computer to work. I can't be dealing with this weird driver issues day in, day out, and they really, like, save me a headache. Not that they knew, but that's just a good customer. Ew! What are those? What are those, eh? Yeah, just a great customer experience, right? And then that's what I value. Yeah, let's read some more messages about laptops. Hull says, the problem with leaving a laptop plugged in is it can really degrade the battery. Most laptops in 2022 do a very good job with performance and not needing to be plugged in. That's not what I read, but okay. Like, I mean, technology will improve and the performance will, but like the general advice was like plug it in as much as you can, especially if you're playing games. And the reasoning was pretty solid. I don't think, like, I'm not aware of some major leap there that would mean actually no, it's fine to leave the battery plug in. I think the nature of the battery and the amount of power a gaming laptop will use is still, like, the principle is the same, surely. Okay, so apparently they now have amazing power consumption apps that compensate for being plugged in all the time. Oh wait, are you saying because it's plugged in, or like, or when you're not, it optimizes? I mean, you kind of expect that to be there anyway. Like, optimizing for power, there's been like a long history of laptops to do that, but hey, maybe they only sussed it out this year. Mine runs at 80% when plugged in, says Becca. If I remember correctly, the numbers that they sort of threw out there suggested some laptops might even like go less on performance than that if they're not plugged in at the wall. So anyway, you know, I'm not an expert. I just did some research and heard some things. Fanelet, thank you for 5 months. Appreciate it. Skyfighter ZX says, check out the framework. They have good laptops and are right to repair, friend. And Teresa says, I found some good laptop reviews with the benchmarks on Linus Tech Tips. Not sure what they've done recently. Oh, that's a good, yeah, looking up general performance benchmarks for individual laptops. I'm very used to like building my own computer and picking my own parts. I've always liked doing that. Even when I didn't build my own computer, I would do like the part picking type build. I liked having exactly what I wanted, and so I guess I look at laptops the same way, whereas maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should be thinking about it different. And I'm out of the deep slate that we want, so let's go hop over here and mine some as I bang my head. Here we go. Are we mining out this little bit here as well? Yes, we are. Right, so we want to get this shape and bring it down. And I'm using the wrong pick again. Why do I keep doing that? Dang it, I literally just mined all of that with the wrong pick. What a goof. What an absolute goose. Ha! There we go. You can still pick and choose what you want from a laptop, it's just not as customizable, but with a bunch of manufacturers you can find one that fits your wants and need. Yeah, I'll have a deeper look into it. I just so far my experience felt like the level of performance that I wanted seemed to come with this like 15-inch monitor business where it's like 256 resolution, you know, stupid amount of frame rate, and I'm just like, this is wasted on me. My eyes don't see that, I don't need it for my videos, like, I don't really want to put money into those resources. The other thing I want to get is a an expansion screen with it, which on the one place I was looking at buying from, I can chuck one in for like 100 quid. And it's this little like additional monitor that's like 15 inches. And so I can just put like OBS and notes on that if I'm recording a snapshot video on the go. Because that's what I need, I just need like a little bit of extra screen space for additional information. God, I'm running out of all the space over here with these shulker boxes, aren't I? Just get rid of it all. Well, we are steadily making progress, you can say that for sure. Very steadily. So yeah, I kind of like, I don't want to rush into order or anything, but I am kind of like, once I know that's what I want to do, I kind of just want to like pull the trigger and get on with it. Especially while I've got time to like set the laptop up. It'll have Windows 11. That'll take some getting used to, I imagine. Or maybe not. It looks very similar to Windows 10. Oh, and we're out of that block again. I should have picked up some more. Should have picked up some more. Japuckle, buying a laptop and then changing the parts is not a great way to go. Not a great way to go. I've got 2 monitors at home I repurposed from old laptops for $15 on eBay. You can get monitor drivers and a good inexpensive extra monitor. Yeah, I might have a look actually at doing it cheaper. I don't think I would go the route of like repurposing some laptop. You know, I can't get that hands on with that kind of stuff. But yeah, you might be able to pick up like a way cheaper alternative. You know, like I've got an iPad, and one thing you can do with Fruity Loops is use it as a controller, which is just like super convenient because then you don't have to go and buy a bunch of hardware to control your VSTs. Maybe there's something like that, you know, just a way to... Oh, my brain is mad. I've like trained myself to use this pick because I want to collect the cobbled stuff, and then I need to collect the regular stuff, and I'm just over here continuously using the wrong pick. Ugh. No need to do that. Screens are so cheap these days. Just grab a $100 monitor off of Amazon, says Alphona20. Yeah, that's. I think you're missing the point. The point was that you can get it cheaper if you repurpose something with a driver. Anyway, I'll do a little bit more research into that. I just saw it was an option on the laptop that I was going to buy that they'll throw in a monitor that works with it. It's been a while since we've seen the derp animation. Just saying, says Curls. I guess you've earned it today. Or I've earned it. I don't know who earns the derp. Jeez, someone does. That's for sure. Right, it's all got to get filled in. No shortcuts. Right, and then it continues down here somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to take this out now as well. This needs to start getting dug down. Derp animation, everyone wins, says Curls. This sounds true to me. It sounds very true. What do I think about the Roe versus Wade thing being overturned? I haven't talked about that, and I haven't invested much time at all looking into it. I've been on somewhat of a news feed break, and honestly, like, it's going so well that I've not been enticed really to get involved in anything that much. Like, I opened the BBC the other day and I was just like, oh my god, I just don't want to see any of this. Actually, I listened to an audiobook about the news that really interested me. I've always got this like thought in the back of my mind about building something different and creating something new in the future, and you know, Xisuma Says and the music channel are like little adventures in those directions. That may end up being, you know, the thing. But anyway, this idea that this book talked about, like, it really made me think a lot about how the news is presented, and it essentially pointed out that the news has like a tone and a presentation format that actually like sucks a lot of the energy and life and things that are interesting out of stories, the way they choose to report on them, and it made me think, yeah, like there's ways that like headlines are reported in the news and how they just don't know how to make things interesting. They seem to sort of pivot stories towards like doom and gloom most of the time, whereas actually, like, you know, there's interesting things to be learned. And where I spend so much time in the YouTube edutainment space, it's like, it's fascinating. I'm learning about things. It really interests me. And yet news articles can be about the same thing, yet they're utterly boring. And the book was sort of surmising that news itself has a problem in how it chooses to present stories to people. I was like, man, maybe there's a way. There's a way here, you know, like there's a way to do something different. But as I thought about it, maybe I'm already at the thing that's different, because I learn through stuff that might be related to what's going on in the world through edutainment, and I just feel like it's like so much more informative than reading a news article. Super interesting book though, like just really fascinated me, the idea that, you know, the news isn't told very well. And it also talked about novels and dramas like Shakespeare, and pointed out some similarities to stories about like celebrities and how they'll point out like some sort of detail about them. So and so has done this, so and so has said that. And then it compared them to like how there are similar details in a novel or Shakespeare's play, and those are much more well received because they bring out the drama, the human emotion, and all of that aspect of life, whereas these drab news stories tend to just present information to you in a very uninteresting, boring way. And yeah, I don't know, just like that really hit me. I was like, yeah, that's something, isn't it? Actually, it's starting to feel like the news is becoming entertainment, says Giant Mushroom. Maybe that depends on what news you're consuming, because I guess various different news sources would have different tones and temperaments to them. To me, I'm referring to probably the BBC, and then your kind of more mainstream American stuff too tends to be a bit dull, in my opinion. I don't know, because everything in those big news organisations is also politicised, and so when things are politicised, you're rarely given like facts, information, and education. You're more or less just given the spin, you know. Like, here's your politics. What is the audiobook called, says Curls? I don't know, I'll have to look it up again. Forgot the name of it. Anyway, so like, you know, if there is a revolutionary idea there to create something new, like, it wouldn't be the news, would it, right? Like, you can't rebrand the news. That's why it's called the news. So like, what is this new thing? Well, it's like, it occurred to me, it sort of already exists. It's all this like edutainment stuff, right? That does such a great job of explaining various things, especially science. You know, in the news, it's like scientists have done this and done that, and they smash some particles together, and it's like, oh, have they now? Whereas you watch some like Veritasium, Vsauce, Kurzgesagt video on it, it's just utterly amazing. They'll present it in a way where you'll be like, oh wow, this is so cool, what's like, tell me more, you know? Okay, looks like we've got some floaty blocks up there. Looks like we're kind of back to the main wall that needs sorting out. Oh gosh, such a slow process this. Yeah, this is well and truly turned me off from doing more with deep slate digging. All my farms will not be at deep slate level now, I think, unless they have to be for some horrible reason. Does it go? Is that one left? I think that's one left over up there. Two left over. There we go. All right, and then we've got to continue all of this and all of that down there. Isn't there something about mob spawns at certain levels, says Dog Breath? That is something I wanted to double check. Yeah, I know exactly what you're asking about, and I'm not sure if it changed in this update. Let me make a note. And I will find out. Sometime after the stream, I guess. Right, I'm just taking care of something off camera, by the way. There we go. All done. I love those channels. Add SciShow. I like SciShow too. I don't watch a crazy amount of SciShow. I'd say Veritasium is probably my favourite of all of them. Rightio then. Ooh, it is exhausting and hot in here, and I feel like maybe I need to sit down and cool off for a minute, you know? I think that's probably a good idea. Also, I never drank all of that tea. To be fair, I drank most of it, though. Off camera, dude, you never on camera to begin with, says Skyfire. I'm talking about the Minecraft game. There's other things I can do on the computer, right? Like if the Minecraft game isn't doing anything, maybe I'm doing something else, somewhere else, that you can't see. Do you have AC, says Hixel. I do not, and I don't think I'll get it, because the hot weather is actually quite a small part of the year. Oh man, I just adjusted my desk so I can sit, and immediately I remember I had a dream that the motor went all the way up, but it didn't hit the monitors and knock them off. And now I'm remembering more of the weird and bizarre dream that I had. And oh god, they're always weird and bizarre. There's no such thing as a normal dream, is there now? Curls says dream waffles? Nah. I don't think the details of it were... I mean, first of all, I haven't really thought about it long enough, but I don't think the details of it were terribly interesting. Just one of those weird kind of like, you're in a place and you, I don't know, stuff's happening and changing all around you, and yeah, just a whole bunch of weirdness. Hot weather lasts like a month and it's not worth the AC, says Penelope Sky. Yeah, pretty much that, you know. Even when it's like hot here, there'll always be some days where it rains too, so it's much more manageable. Not totally unbearable. Huh, they're on the edges. I thought I was close to the floor then, and then I was thinking like, hang on a minute, didn't I light up the floor? I feel like probably could have done with some extra TNT in this area. AC is just worse for the climate than it does good, says Hixel. Oh, you're gonna get me off on one now. You're gonna set me off on one. I listened to a podcast that like had just some remarkably intelligent ideas in it that I'm still sort of processing. One of them was about like Bitcoin mining and how people moan about like how much energy it uses, and it was a pretty good explanation of how the economics of Bitcoin mining tends to mean the electricity that's being used has to come from more renewable / cheap manageable locations where the electricity is generated in excess. This is because of the cost of mining, right? To make it economically viable to participate in that, you tend to have to use excess energy. So like, again, let's talk about the whole veil of ignorance, how, you know, Twitter is always inviting you to go, oh god, crypto's the worst, it's going to ruin the environment because I heard this statistic, right? And then you're never really invited to assess your own ignorances and like, hey, do I understand how electrical grids work in the world and all this stuff? And, you know, like when I have an opinion on this stuff, when I investigate it myself, I'm always aware that there's some other bit of information that could come past your way and make you reassess how you evaluate these things. And it really did make me go, yeah, that's a really interesting point, that the way that electrical grids work is that there's like a balance of, you know, supply and demand. There are different types of energy sources based on when demand goes up. There is economics of cost to it. And what it is essentially, if you want to mine Bitcoin with energy, using the expensive fossil fuel stuff is like not where that power is coming from, and it's coming from where you have excess power, which is like solar and wind and geothermal and stuff where it's like it's more supplementary to the grid. It's not the primary thing. I'm not doing a great job of explaining how the electrical grid works, but I have learned a bit about it in the past, and I kind of get the point. So that, you know, that's like one thing to consider, is that not all power consumption is equal. But the other thing that really resonated with me, that I agree with greatly, is that power and electrical consumption is directly correlated to the progress of humanity and the improvement of living standards, right? And so this guy made a pretty like extreme example, you know. I always like, you make the extreme example to show that there's, you know, a tether, a scale between things. And this extreme example was kind of cheeky because it's like extreme in a way that's like hard for anyone to disagree with. But their point was basically like, if you were to assess how much power, what do they call it for babies, like incubators, you know, babies that are born prematurely go into those incubation chambers. I'm sure I'm getting the wrong word there. And that has a cost of power, right? And so you can take things like medical facilities and tally up all of the electricity that they consume. You can pry into many aspects of civilization that we all agree are a good thing, and you will find a price tag for energy attached to it, right? Incubator. I am getting it right then. So yeah, like everything is attached to energy consumption in terms of prosperity and standard of living and whatnot. So like throwing down these judgments about what should and shouldn't use power leads you into that space of like, well, does this thing then should or shouldn't? And you know, in my mind, technology is like a train that you can't stop, and we will have to just, you know, keep figuring things out, keep engineering solutions and respond to problems, and transitioning to green energy is something that we should be doing. But that's because look at all the things that use power, right? So yeah, life support is very, very costly in terms of power consumption. But no one would be rallying against not using it. Of course, it's not the same as Bitcoin, but the point goes that you know, everything has a power cost attached to it, and like, who are you to be the arbiter of what can and can't be used? Essentially, is the point. But we should attach the priority to energy consumption as well. For example, medical centers need power more than, let's say, an amusement park. Yeah, so like, I think the argument you'll come up against with when you make statements like that is that you'll encroach on people's freedoms to do what they want to do. Like, as crazy as it is, you probably can't convince regular people that we should prioritize energy and you can't go to theme parks anymore because someone else deems it not worthy of your you know, worthy of the power that it uses, right? You're going to get all kind of resistance against those ideas, because although we might have our own opinions on how we could create rules at a societal level that better shape our use of energy, everyone's idea is going to be like unique and different, and there's no way we're all going to agree. So it feels more like a better solution is to figure out how to not take away power from something, but to just generate more of it and generate it cleaner for everyone, for whoever wants to use it. And that's essentially the kind of direction it goes in anyway. The UK's smart motorway signs cost 5k to run a day as well, so that's why they're usually turned off. Huh. I haven't driven up and down enough motorways to know much about that. There are some inventive solutions out there. One of the biggest hospitals in Vienna is getting 80% of its power from the heat produced in a huge server center nearby. Wow, that's super cool. Yeah, yeah. Those server centers, they produce a lot of heat, didn't they? That's really fascinating. I love that. I love being able to, like, completely different institutions or departments, or however you want to label it, companies, businesses, being able to kind of combine each other's strengths and weaknesses, right? Those data server centers, yeah, they absolutely pump out heat, and using that to generate energy, go to hospital, that's very clever. It should also be stated that that would be incredibly inefficient, right? Like, as a primary heat source, but to set it up as like something you can do with heat that's already there, definitely a good idea. Like, you wouldn't build a server farm to power a hospital, but if there's one next door, let's use some of that heat. Value is subjective / relative to worldview and ideology. If Bitcoin provides an open public form of money that can't be debased by a central authority, then that might be worth some energy expender, says Johnson. Yeah, I've been swayed onto the side of believing that it probably is. I mean, God, I'm like very interested in the crypto stuff, but also really turned off by how it's been kind of hijacked a lot, I guess, by people, you know, conning others, Ponzi schemes, all this kind of stuff. It's riddled with it. But the original Bitcoin, you know, it's still there, and it still represents something. And in this podcast I was listening to, it explained very, very well, because I've been trying to understand inflation lately, because it's like, I've got some savings, and what you want to do with savings is the value of your work at the time that you do it. And, you know, you have that value. You want to put it away to use it again at a later point in life, i.e. retirement, right? Or going on a holiday when you're not working. So savings is about, like, putting your value in a place and then using it later. But the issue is with money as we know it, is that inflation and other mechanics debase the value of it. So when you put aside money for the future, it immediately starts to lose its value, unless it's in invested. But as this podcast pointed out, investment is like a risk. You're taking on risk. You might end up with better returns. You might lose everything. Like, and people don't want risk, and I don't want risk. Where I've like taken an interest in the stock market and crypto and other things, it's because I'm trying to like figure out how to best, I guess, protect my savings. It's like, I've earned this money and I want its value to still hold value in the future when it comes around to using that again, right? For whatever reason. Like I said, retirement, holiday, other things, maybe moving house would be one. And you watch all this inflation just chew up your savings. It's like heartbreaking. And so I get interested in all this stuff, trying to figure it out. But really, when I listen to this podcast, I realize I'm not actually interested in making money off the stock market or, you know, a get-rich-quick scheme. That's not why I'm interested in crypto. It's really just wanting to be able to have your savings keep their value. Like, it's not greedy. It's a case of, like, you know, you have a job, you earn money, you do your part, and then you want what you earn to hold its value over time. But the way things are set up, it doesn't. The value diminishes. And so you have to, you know, get involved in investment, which is a risk. It's just, let's have a look. We've got a... as for your fire chief, as for your comment there, I'll look into that. I've just copied that. That'll go on the after stream things to do. What I will ask is that crypto as a whole separate to Bitcoin? Because in the podcast that I listened to that again explained some fundamentals of Bitcoin, I've heard over and over again, this person just had like such a great way of making it better understood that crypto is probably the one thing you can reliably say, sorry, Bitcoin is the one thing you can reliably say isn't the Ponzi scheme, because it runs right without its creator and it can't be tampered with. It's like the system is what it is and will remain that way. Whereas what they say is like it doesn't matter if it's Ethereum or Cardano or any of these other cryptos. They have people actively developing them, and that's the problem. It's just that people can change it, even if all the intentions are good and whatnot. Like, it still has that element, whereas the original Bitcoin doesn't. The original Bitcoin is just forever the way it is. I mean, there are some other aspects, because I think Bitcoin had like a hard fork at one point, but still essentially it's mostly just the same thing, no matter what. Crypto is the fastest way to become a millionaire. First, just become a billionaire and then invest in crypto. Okay, Girlwinders, that's a great joke. I like it. I like where you went with that. I was thinking, oh, someone's spouting nonsense, and then it was like, okay, it's a good joke. It's a good joke. Yeah, like anyone, like, again, I'm not interested in crypto for get rich quick. I'm interested in the technology. And again, like the spirit of Bitcoin, this whole idea of like a currency that the government can't tamper with. This is 4 wide, which means it's wrong. Because it's the government running, you know, printing money that causes inflation, it would seem. Again, the podcast explained really well the fundamentals of how fiat money, as they call it, is primarily linked to inflation, like the way credit and debit works, and borrowing money. And like, I'm gonna be terrible at reciting all of this stuff, right? So I'm not really gonna try, but yeah, it was just kind of a reminder that probably like the inflation's just always going to be a part of this system. And the problem with inflation is that it doesn't really affect the people who are in charge, because they're rich and wealthy, and you know, inflation's all right when you got multiple houses and properties and assets everywhere. It doesn't really bother you. Check out Money Master, best I've seen explaining the debt-based currency. I probably will. I probably want to understand it a little deeper, but my takeaway from like feeling like I've got a better understanding of it is also a bit doom and gloom. It's like I'm kind of hoping to learn something somewhere and be like, so this is what I need to do with my money, right? I need to put it there, and it doesn't really feel like there's an answer to that. It just feels like, nope, this is the way the game is. Like, you're either gonna put it into stocks, and that's a risk, that's a gamble, or down I fall. Because I made some money in the last year, like investigating stocks and buying stuff, but then at one point I realized I still have no idea what I'm doing. The only reason I made money is because there's this massive bull run going on and everyone's making money, and that's not going to sustain long term. That's not what I'm looking for, so yeah. But aren't you worried about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies increase and, more importantly, decrease their value? Doesn't that make it just as scary as normal currencies, says Obsidian Dragon? Not really. Like, if you understand the fundamentals, which I do on a kind of listening to people that understand it better than me basis, you know, crypto has, or let's just talk about Bitcoin, because I'm kind of aware that Bitcoin is the one thing that can probably deliver on the promise. The other stuff, maybe not so much. Like, if you understand the mechanics, the idea is that it's, how did the guy describe it? Like hard, he explained all this stuff about like hard and soft currencies, and there's sort of like an inbuilt scarcity mechanic to Bitcoin, where essentially like the supply is limited, right? Like, you can't print more money, and that's the thing. Like, the value of something is different when you can print more of it, because then you can debase the value of everyone else who holds it. So because you can't print more Bitcoin, whereas you can, I think, effectively print more Ethereum or Cardano. Some of them even have more money printing baked into them. I think Cardano might actually. I think it's supply mechanism. I mean, there's all sorts of different cryptos trying out different things. Like, there's some that are deliberately deflationary, and some that, like, you know, burn some of the tokens or coins or whatever they're called over time. Anyway, Bitcoin, the idea is that there's always going to be the same amount in circulation, and that is like, you know, resistant to inflation. But, you know, it also depends on people's belief in it. There's that sort of quote of, you know, like paper money is because we all agree on it that it works. There's some truth to that, I guess. Ethereum is not infinite. The reward pool shrinks over time, making mining tokens harder as it gets more bigger chain, says Faster Side. Yeah, but remember, they can update Ethereum. That's the problem. That's why, you know, this guy reckons that Bitcoin is the one, is because there are people actively developing and can change code, you know, and can make things run different on their networks and whatnot. And there are examples of this happening and whatnot as well. The other thing is, like, this stuff is like has been made by incredibly smart people, and we all just learn about it from other people who may not even be as smart as we think they are, right? Like, a lot of us are just reciting stuff we heard. I'm not trying to hide that. I'm just out there trying to learn, right? And so sometimes your opinion kind of just depends on whoever you happen to listen to. It's hard to discern who genuinely understands this stuff or not. I'm pretty confident the guy I listened to in this podcast, though, was someone who really did, based on credentials of, you know, that have been assigned to them, I guess. You know, reputation and whatnot. My ignorance to cryptocurrency has just shown me how little I understand real money, says Ankles. It's really worth learning and understanding stuff. I mean, it might sound boring, but I think it's always worth having a little pry into a topic, because sometimes it's just not what you think. It's also an age thing as well, I think. I know some of you out there are probably young and you're like, oh, Soma, just play Minecraft, stop talking about economics and gah. But, like, I think it's like a getting older thing as well. You just become more curious in how the world around you works. You stop, like, taking it at face value and start asking questions about, like, what moves this and what happens underneath. What was the name of the podcast? It was the Lex Friedman podcast, and I don't think I would pronounce the guy's name correctly. But if you look into the topics, it was about... He wrote a book called The Bitcoin Standard and another one called The Fiat Standard. So that's the guest. And another deeply fascinating thing he brought up that just, like, totally blew my mind was, like, talking about how war is expensive and how when they had the gold standard, war was, like, more expensive, right? So I don't know, like, how truthful any of this is, or, like, you know, it's one person's interpretation of history, but I've subscribed to this idea as of late that post World War II, the world's become a more peaceful place. You know, you can look at statistics, and yes, there are wars and people dying and suffering in the world, and all of that's awful, and we don't want it, and we want to build a society that doesn't have it. But, like, with an historical trend, like, looking at statistical data that we have on people suffering, it looks like the march of progress and technology is reducing that suffering, and this includes people dying in combat in wars as well. Obviously, you know, no line is straight, and there's ups and downs and rocky patches, and we're going through another one after we've gone through the pandemic. You know, time might tell us that this is the wrong way to look at it, but it really like rocked that assessment a little bit when he put forth this idea. Again, it's something that probably needs to be a bit more researched and verified, but let's take them at face value, that that in monarchies going to war was really expensive, and that they didn't have deep pockets, and so you would go and fight in fields, right? This army turns up here, this army turns up there. It certainly sounds like the perspective of that era of history that I've learned about, as many of you probably have as well, through, you know, TV shows and entertainment, as well as history lessons at school. That kind of image of kings and queens out on the battlefields with their armies. And what he said is that, like, because it's so expensive and costly, sometimes the two armies might turn up, and one vastly outweighs the other, and so they go, okay, you win, that's it. We're not doing this, because clearly you're going to whoop our butt. And then sometimes they'll duke it out for a bit, and someone might surrender relatively soon, because it's clear they're not going to win. And then in World War I, you have a horrendous war of attrition, where it goes on for years and years of just endless dying and fighting over like a small chunk of land back and forth over and over again. And they suggested that this is related to fiat currency, that the way they can print money now affects the way that they can run wars, and that war might be tied to debt as well. And just fascinating, deep and difficult concepts to get your head round. But that really made me wonder, like, what is the root of this statistical data that we have on death and suffering in the age of, whoa. Oh, Tango, too many item frames. Too many item frames. How many item frames are there here? God! My game hates this. Yeah, when I look at... Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! God almighty! What is this, Tango? What is this? Oh my goodness me! It's the black box of death! Ah! Oh, jeez, look away from it! Look away from it! Oh my God! Oh dear, no! 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 How do I stop it? Oh God! Jesus Christ! Right, I'm looking. Oh, God, I can't move. Moving just kills. Okay, if I hold shift. Jesus! Jeez Louise! Right, hold shift and everything will be okay. Oh! Oh my days! Oh no, it's doing it again! Tango, you and your item frames! Oh my God. Ah! Right, I'm not... Ugh. Oh, goodness me, that gave me a headache. I don't know about all of y'all. Jeez. That's shaky wakey. How far are we into this stream? Like 2 hours or something? I need to make a note of roughly when that is. Right, we gotta go back in a minute. Goodness me. I'm actually getting a bit of that. I'm getting a bit of like hangover from this. Yeah, I am actually like trying to have a bit of fun. I think I know what causes it, and I'll look into it. But for now, we're gonna have to put up with it. So hold shift and oh, don't look! God, haven't I learnt my lesson? Can I not even look a little bit? Right, do I have to navigate? Oh my God, I'm holding shift, please. Right, if I hold shift, okay, it seems like too much movement, and then it just goes off on one. Okay, there we go. Someone's saying turn off hitboxes. That might help, but that's not the cause. Let's see. Oh God, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Right, as long as we just steadily move away. Right, the frames are silky smooth now. Don't look at the big black box. Gosh. Jeez. Jeez Louise. Right, can I go through my nether portal? Thanks. You need a new computer. Oh, probably do. Yeah, let's get back to our conversation, right? So yeah, like, what is all this death and suffering from way back in the day when kings and queens had armies and met in fields? It's probably more related to medical health, those numbers, than it is to war, I would imagine, because there were less people to be involved in wars, shape of wars were different, and people were probably more likely to die of, like, you know, disease and poor sanitary conditions and whatnot. So oh, look at you, you little filthy snipers. Filthy snipers. Can't stand them. Shooting over little gaps and edges as they jump up and down. Ugh. Dinnerbone, eh? Blame it on Dinnerbone. So yeah, maybe these ideas about, like, the nature of war and where it's going need to be reassessed, is what I was considering. Where's the toolbox? Which one didn't I check? Or did I just open it and, like... Yeah, there you go. Brain dead. So yeah, these numbers of, you know, hey, we're doing better than ever, wars down and all this, maybe that needs reassessing, because, like, just off the top of your head, think about it, like, it's kind of easy to think about how much the world's population has expanded compared to back in the day of kings and queens. Like, shouldn't those numbers be reflected in people dying from war? What needs to be reassessed, says Curls? Just that viewpoint that I kind of, like, learned and changed my idea on war and stuff. Maybe it isn't actually, I mean, I'm not going to say rosy, but you know what I mean, like, it's going from having a completely negative perspective to, like, understanding it differently. That maybe it used to be worse, but war in terms of kings and queens and stuff, like, you know, it sounds pretty horrific to die on a battlefield of, let's see, you know, it's getting stabbed by swords and hit with archers and stuff, but, you know, in World War One, they were using gas weapons, and geez, I don't know what's worse. Like, the trenches were pretty brutal as well. Wars might become even more expensive with the new military robots coming in, says Xarum. Yeah, might be less expensive in terms of human life. But, like, war is tied to economics as well, because it destroys economic productivity, and there's just, like, it's so destructive that it's absolute madness, war. It really is, but I guess I've never been in a position where I'm pro-war. I don't know. I couldn't imagine being pro-war. Maybe if I were around in World War II, I would have been. But the times are different then too. You know, when I'm saying pro-war, not like, yeah, let's have a war. I mean, like, oh, here's the, you know, this person's over there doing that. Let's go sort them out. That kind of pro-war, right? War is always going to have an impact, disease-wise. Lots of people in close quarters with limited supplies leads to outbreaks. It's nasty anyway, yeah. Especially in those trenches, gosh. The conditions of trenches in World War One are just diabolical. Hell on earth. Especially in a pandemic, says Curls. And, you know, the movement of troops after World War One, you know, it's called the Spanish flu, just because Spain were the country that shared all the information on what was happening, but the movement of troops after the war caused the influenza pandemic. Fire Chief says, yeah, people who are pro-war are sociopaths, probably. Possibly. I don't really know how to define a sociopath. A lot of those, like, you know, buzzwords get thrown around. So-and-so's a narcissist and stuff, and I'm like, I don't really know this topic very well to like make those kind of judgment calls. Trenches saw massive outbreaks of flu in 1918 along with cholera and typhoid. Yep, those sanitary conditions were dire. Jamie Now 4, thank you for subscribing with the Prime 5 minutes ago. I've been deep in a waffle again, haven't I? Snowy Elliot, thank you for 3 months. Oh dear, what have I walked into? 3 months though, hello. Just more deep discussions. Always thinking about what's going on in the world. I am trying to learn. It's weird just feeling that change. Like I used to just like be concerned about entertaining myself. I know one thing it changes is how much music I listen to. I used to just listen to music non-stop, and I still could. But I spend a lot of time now listening to audiobooks and podcasts and learning that way. And it's like, you know, just stepping back and realizing how much like it changes you, I guess, what you put your time into. My brother says Minecraft instead of Minecraft. Minecraft is the real way to say it, that's why. All the real Minecraft players know what's up. Oxford Gaming says, Xisuma, I cheated death the other day. Got in a bad motorcycle accident, my bike was totaled, but I walked away with only flesh wounds and a dislocated shoulder. If anyone ever thinks helmets are no big deal, a good helmet is the only reason that I'm alive today. Totally, man. I always wear a helmet when I'm on my bike. I'm talking about a cycle bike, man. Pedaling. I live life on the edge over here. God. Pedal to the metal. That's what I always say. No, I don't say that. It's just so cheesy. Dude, I'm glad you're okay. Gosh, that must have been something. One question I want to ask you is, did it like change your perspective on life in any way? I've heard lots of stories about how like near-death incidences like change someone's perspective, or don't change it, or sometimes people report like it. Like, I've heard like anecdotal stories of people having near-death experiences that like give them like a sudden renewed sense of, I don't know, priority, ambition, insert word here, but then it like flips back and it becomes like difficult later on, like they lose all of that. I don't know, I've just heard interesting anecdotal stories about people having near-death experiences. Kind of curious if yours affected you in any way. But yeah, glad to hear you're well, of course. Oh god, I need to go get more sand. No TNT Jupiter, that is correct. We're doing it without. Oh, I'm gonna need a little bit more juice. Oh, we out of sand? No, we got sand in here, right? We got snad over here. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, lying there, I told myself this isn't where I was going to die, but I think I will just take the road more seriously than I have been looking at riding. Cool. Well, you know, taking something more seriously is always a good response. Maybe nothing major or profound then, but yeah, just be smarter. I don't trust my own memory. Like, if I had a near-death experience, I think I really would remember it. But I've had some like weird things here and there, like being on holiday and being in a boat that almost capsized. And I think it's more of one of those things where like when others tell you the story back, because I was really young, then you learn how much danger you were in. But like at the time, it just kind of didn't seem like that, so it doesn't feel like a near-death experience. But I have this like one story of being in like a paddle boat thing and getting sent over to these rocky shores, and the boat almost capsized like on top of the rocks, and it probably would have been really nasty. I was a bit too young, I guess. Curls. I don't know what NDEs are, but feel free to link me something later, that's cool. For some reason I started to think about anime, says Jelly Potter Header. That's so weird. I just started thinking about anime. Did anyone else here just start thinking about anime? God, imagine if like everyone right now is just thinking about anime for some reason. God, I don't know what on earth could cause that. Apparently there's a hypno raid incoming. Are we being hypnotized? Ah! Oh. Oh yeah, my stream VODs are available on my second channel if you didn't know. That's on the screen. I forgot that pops up. Gosh. Such a smart YouTuber, eh? We got a hypno raid incoming? Nope. Oh, okay, we don't, apparently. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, we went too far. 'Cause I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep all this deep slate instead of losing it. Oh god, we're out of the TNT. Oh, I should have picked up some of that a second ago, shouldn't I? And I almost died. Great. Great Minecrafting X. Where's the latest? Have I had a latest shulker box that I've ripped out and thrown down? Well, this is going to be it. I'm going to have to open a deep slate shop after this, surely. Keep a little bit of that on me. And eat food. Eat food. Right, are we being raided or not? I can't tell. Yes, we are. We're being raided by Hypno. Hypno, thank you for the raid. Hypno, I don't know if you were on here. You just left the game, so thank you for the raid, my dude. We have been talking about crypto, Bitcoin, fiat, monarchies, world wars. Just the typical X stream, I guess, isn't it? Been talking about all the stuff. We did also talk about curries. That definitely fits into that category. And now we're talking about near-death experiences. Little Ham says, my own personal near-death experience made me rethink my view on productivity and how useful I am to society. Now, the way I see it is I don't care about any of it as long as I feel personally fulfilled and happy with myself, says Little Ham. That's cool, you know, if you learn something, that's awesome. One thing I will say is, like, I can understand the productivity bit, but what about being useful to society? Like, don't you want to serve society in some way? Part of, like, what I might do post YouTube, to me, I would want to serve society in some way. Like, I want to create something of value for others. Now, I feel like my Xisuma Says stuff might be a little bit in that direction, but like, I'm aware that this creates value for others in terms of entertainment, which I don't think is a form of value to be shunned in any way, just because maybe it involves playing a game and waffling away at a computer. I still think it has value to offer. Maybe not the greatest value. You know, maybe I'll never be capable of creating some amazing company that goes and creates some game-changing technology or something. But I feel like I provide something, and that gives me a good, warm feeling. And it's something that I'd like to continue doing in one way or another. Why not create more value to others with YouTube? Why wait until after? Well, Curls, you know why. Like, we're working on it right now. Like, it's hard to do, you know, more with your time. And I don't know what to say, really. Like, I can only do so much with my time right now. I mean, I guess my priority isn't to maximize the amount of value that I'm providing, right? I'm aware I'm providing some form of value in entertainment, and I'm trying to branch out a little bit by providing useful thought or valuable thought, I hope, you know, to the best that I can. And we've been chosen by the chosen crew, the chosen architect, coming in with the raid. Thank you so much. Second raid, all of a sudden, double raided over here. We've been double raided. Little Ham says, I don't see it as trying to be useful is the main point. Just that I am happy with what I bring to the world. Well, that's cool. You know, like, I'm reading your messages and maybe misunderstanding them too. Just, that's kind of the way it sounded to me a little bit. Like, it was like, you know, like, providing value to society wasn't a priority, which it doesn't have to be. It's just, I find that that's a good thing. I feel like, I wish we could, like, honor just even, like, basic jobs a bit more. Like, I feel like, especially, like, nurses and doctors are, like, absolute heroes. And there's just so many... Oh, God, I've got to be quick and careful. Whew! There's so many just, like, basic things that you can take for granted, it feels like. Yeah, setting these off close to another is causing a ruckus on the way down. But it did a wicked job of clearing all of that, didn't it? Oh! Oh! Did you bring me a present? Oh, you fell down. Dang it. The guy fell down. And the music stopped, but I'd like to keep going a little bit longer. So I'm singing until the... Okay, it started again. Thank you for the raid, Chosen Architect, if you're there, my dude. Greatly appreciated. Right, so we've... Oh, God, I've got to rebuild this wall because it's just blasted it apart. Maybe it'd be easier to do that from the bottom because it kind of looks like a heck of a lot of it. Oh, look. And you get to about here and maybe not. Let's go from here up. Huh. Yeah, just make sure I'm not getting this wrong. Cool. So we're gonna fill this in. Because we destroyed too much. Yeah, teachers are so underpaid, especially at my school, says Boomer. Yes, yeah, teachers. Like, there are these roles in society. I just but I feel like teachers, nurses, doctors, all a bit more obvious. I mean, even like plumbers, electricians, like they're all doing something valuable. We just take so much stuff for granted. It's like you turn on the tap and you don't even think about all the engineering and science and manpower that went into like making sure that that tap comes on and that the water's clean and safe, and like there's a lot of cooperative action that people take with their careers and jobs that like just goes kind of like unthanked, really. And I wish we could see it more through the perspective of not like, you know, this is my job or whatever. We're realizing like we're all contributing to society in one way or another. We're all making this good for all of us. Everything's interconnected. But I think a lot of that comes down to maybe how like wealth is distributed and how jobs like that don't pay well. It's probably hard to like really focus on a feeling like that when it's just, you know, you get paid something to get by on, essentially. And we don't all share in the spoils the same way. Think about how society would look without cleaners, says CloudStee. Yep, that's one of the easily most unthanked jobs. And yet, we all appreciate, you know, clean toilets and stuff, right? Farmers are also a good example for that too, says Curls. Yeah, you'll probably find like most professions are like contributing to society and like in a way that we don't appreciate enough, that we just, things that we take for granted. Like you can just walk into a shop and get some food, can you? Like think about how much cooperation has to go into, like cooperation and manpower goes into like stocking your local supermarket. Imagine being in charge of that. God, that'd blow my mind apart. I couldn't manage a supply chain. So yeah, like so like there's so much stuff that like provides value to society, and I feel like it's something to think about, like how much can you contribute, and you know what are you bringing to society, and take pride in it and stuff. Waste management workers too, says Xintrovert. Yeah, like waste management is like, God, can you imagine how rotten things would be without waste management? Jeez, doing a hero's job over there. You're worth what you know, says Sir Gruten. Maybe. I mean, you can be worth what you do, not just what you know about. Xintrovert, thank you ever so much for subscribing, my dude. Greatly appreciated. Truck drivers, says Curls. Yeah, basically everyone like is pitching in and making it all work. Yeah. I don't know, the enthusiasm for that, it's not there, but I feel like there's a reason it's not there. It's probably because of how wealth is distributed, right? Like it's easy for people to feel, you know, like life's just a 9-to-5 grind, and yeah. One of the jobs that people hate working the most is like retail work, right? And that's like, people take that for granted too. It's like definitely less glamorous than some of these other ones we said about, but like having people, you know, serve you and put your groceries through the checkout till and stuff, that's valuable too. It's all valuable. But yeah, like the wages you earn for doing stuff like that probably doesn't make you feel valuable at all. Elias Natcham says, oh my god, yes, retail workers. Let's get some retail worker love in the chat. Gosh. I never really liked working retail whenever I did, and I'm just not much of a people person in that way. Then, at least, maybe more now. Like, if you're a very people person, it's probably much more easier and natural to kind of do those kind of roles, right? Customer support and all that kind of stuff, dealing with complaints. Economies of scale help quite a bit to help realize great feats. Yeah. Yeah, the way that things scale just brings more of the good stuff to everyone. With time and engineering and infrastructure and all sorts, yeah. Are you all more towards capitalism or socialism? I don't know. I just don't know. I like to learn about how stuff works in the world without having some sort of ideological ism spun onto it. You know, I guess I think I want to understand things more of a base level of like, this happens because of that, than I care for ideology these days, I think. That's my experience with learning stuff. It's just like, wow, like this is complicated and interesting. And then I think of all those isms and whatnot that I had big ideas about, and I realize, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Like, especially learning about economics. Every time I learn about like economic realities to do with supply and demand and recession, I'm like, yeah, this communism thing, like, kind of feels like it's got some things they need to address here. Right, why would my doorbell be ringing at this time of day? Hang on, let me just check. It's not something important. Hang on, I gotta stop for a second. Hang on, let me mute my mic. I'll be right back. It was a pizza. Gone to the wrong house, so all good. I kind of want a pizza now. I'm also, based on the box, I'm pretty sure I've ordered from that pizza joint before. Dang. You know what, right? Oh my god. Okay, chat, you're going to help me with this, but every day of my life, I count my calories, I do my exercise, okay? I eat my 2 meals. I never, ever have an extra meal and just go, sod it, I'll have a pizza. I've never done that, right? For years. I mean, maybe I did, like, okay, we could roll back the years, I probably did something like that when I was in my youth or whatever, but for the last 10 years, I eat my meals, things are structured, I never have a spontaneous meal. Even when I'm really hungry, I won't be like, oh, I'll just order a pizza, okay? So who here in chat does that? I don't know, you had a couple of meals in the day, evening rolls around, you feel hungry, order a pizza, right? Stay strong, X says Giant Mushroom. What I was originally going to ask was like, can I have permission to do that one day? When should I do that? I mean, I've sort of kept it in the back of my mind that like there'll be a time where it'll be like, go on then. But I never do. I never give in. And now I'm just like, one day I should. It won't be today. Peeps are saying they just grab snacks instead. That's probably a better way to do it than have an extra meal. I'm not a snacker though, so. Nothing is going to happen if you give in once, says Curls. Yeah, even though I know that, I feel like my mind is programmed to like never give in, because that's kind of like how I got here with that like rock. Like for me, doing the whole losing weight, exercising, trying to eat right, like I really went so regimented in the beginning. Like I didn't have anything like takeaway or remotely air quotes bad, let's say, you know, to say something for so long. I just look back at it and think, God, I went like absolutely years without having like a takeaway curry or pizza or anything. I totally went like in so hard on like wanting to get to where I am now. Now I can enjoy that stuff, that's cool, but I think psychologically I've just built up this kind of resilience of like no way Jose kind of stick to the plan no matter what. What do you mean you went years without a curry? Yeah, I don't know if it was years, but like I do not like I definitely like would not order takeaways for myself. That's for sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I must have gone like a very long time without having takeaway curries and stuff. Although I don't know, like memory is foggy. You don't remember what you ate 5 years ago, yesterday, or this week, or last week sometimes. Like. So it's hard to say, but I just don't recall or remember like having a lot of takeaways at all. Like, I just remember them being sacrilege from my goal. It was like, no, I'm only going to eat very healthy and lose all of this weight and yada yada yada. So now you're just ordering takeaway with friends? No, I'll order them for myself and I'll order them with friends too. And the thing is, like, takeaway gets a bit of a bad rap because there's different types of takeaway, right? I tend to go for healthy food anyway, so when I have an air quotes takeaway, it's not like the bad stuff. It's not like a bucket of KFC chicken or McDonald's or something. It's more likely to be Nando's or Wagamama, which tend to be on the healthier sides, and cooked meals. Like today I had like English breakfast, which is not particularly unhealthy, maybe a bit greasy, but that's all right. A little bit of grease, I think it's all right. It's not like I'm eating it every day. Yeah, and I don't really have pizza much. And then again, curries are super good food. Curries are healthy, great stuff. They're just rich. That's all. If you have a lot of curry like I do, it's a lot of calories. Why is pizza bad? Says Tyramo. Because of all the bread, really, and possibly the way it's cooked tends to have like a lot of salt and sort of greasier style of cooking, right? Do you know what we haven't been using? The looting sword and all of this. I could have been getting more little slime balls from you. I'm glad I've seen some slimes over here, actually. That's like kind of promising, isn't it? And after I finish digging all of this out, I've got to light up all the caves. Oh, God, I've got so much to do. So much to do. One frozen pizza is like 900 calories, says Curls. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sometimes you get some that are like down to like 700 or whatever. But again, it's frozen, so you've got to think preservatives, the ingredients aren't fresh, yada yada yada. If you get like a takeaway pizza that's like, let me try and think, like a bit of a distinction. You've got like Domino's, Pizza Hut, and they're sort of similar to some of those like local takeaway pizzas, right? That's erring on the not so healthy side because they tend to have lots of, again, preservatives the way they're done. And then you got some of your more like fresh ingredient type pizzas, like you got some of those chains like Ask Italian and Prezzo, and those ones that are more like freshly cooked pizza. They're probably really not too bad at all. Probably not too bad at all. And you can get calorie counts on these things. High calorie counts aren't essentially bad. It's just know what you're putting in your body. It's probably like a ton of carbs. One day in 365 ain't gonna kill you, as they say. Elmo says the pizza I had from Pizza Hut was 900 cal, but I walked 16k steps, so I deserve it. You see, it depends on like what else you've eaten in the day and how many calories are in your metabolism. Like if I had a 16k day, I could eat 3 900 calorie pizzas, and like in terms of how many calories I'm burning, that would probably be somewhere around right. Probably have a little bit of wiggle room for something more. But that's my personal metabolism, and that's because of the sort of lifestyle that I live, that it's like that. What's a kilocalorie? I don't know what a kilocalorie is. Anyway, I think when it comes to calorie counting, it's more of like an overall energy expenditure thing than it is like doesn't speak much to nutrition and what thing you're choosing to eat. Not all pizzas are created equally. You can have some fast, greasy takeaway one, or like a fresh. That was the other thing I was going to say. Like a homemade pizza, can be really nice. Some of my favorite pizza is homemade. I think, admittedly, the Asda pizza that you can get at the Asda store, for some reason it's just got something about it that's really, really nice. But next to that, I would go with saying that a fresh homemade pizza is really, really nice. And that's probably like the healthiest way to do it, because you get to put all those fresh ingredients in yourself, right? You know, it's not so bad. And again, the only reason why pizza might be bad is generally because of all of that bread. Ah! One block! Must get rid of. Carl says, I've been thinking about making homemade pizzas again for a while now. Well, you know, depending on how much carbs you can tolerate and what your goals are with that, like, there's nothing wrong with putting some fresh ingredients. And the other thing is you get a bit more variety. Like, you can put spinach on a pizza or some fresh rocket salad. You can make it more like a salad, actually, which is something I'd argue is really nice about pizza. With homemade pizza in the past, I've done ones with, like, pepperoni and chorizo and stuff, right? And it's, like, more on the greasy side and flavorful, full of meat, but then you can also put like a fresh fruit and fresh veg on it. Rocket, blah, says Sham Shablam. Rocket is the best, man. I love me some salad. In fact, tomorrow I'm gonna walk down to a place that does some wraps and get a wrap. Go sit in the park while it's sunny and enjoy that. And then my second meal of the day is I had some leftover potatoes that I'm going to cook with some eggs, some Mexican spice. I'm going to try and make like a Mexican beef hash. Mexican potato hash with eggs and stuff like that as well. I don't know. It's going to be a bit of a mess. It's one of those meals where it's like, I've got some of these over here, I've got some of them over there, let's put them together, let's see what happens. So it might turn out to be a disaster. But then, the following 2 days, I'm going to have some big old salads, which I haven't had in a while, actually. Gone like a month without having regular salads. Because what I'd normally do is go to the shop, get all the salad bits, and it would make like 3 or 4 massive bowls of salad for the next few days. And where my routine and groove has just been changed lately, I haven't been going to the same shops. So I haven't been able to do that. And I miss it. I want to get some fresh fruit and veg and, yeah, enjoy me some salad. Blind Bear, thank you ever so much for subscribing. Greatly appreciated. Spirited Spider, did I read this one? Thank you for your cheers and biddy. How's the mining and crafting, Mr. X? It's all going good, thanks for asking. We also got Booper Ruski here subscribing. Thank you, Booper. I appreciate your support. Yeah, thank you for all the support, peeps, today. And we had 2 raids as well. God. Sounds fat, lol, says Tyra Romano. When I make a salad, it's a fat salad. We're talking tons of rocket salad, tomatoes, bell peppers, cucumber, sometimes some radish, sometimes avocado, always some beetroot. And you got to get in some, maybe a little bit of cheese, or cottage cheese is really great in a salad. Yeah, cottage cheese is good. I'll have some of that. That's on my list. Cottage cheese and avocados, I think I'm going for this time. I also chuck in some stuff like flax seeds or chia seeds. I actually have a little notation app device thing where I keep notes on. So I put my shopping list on there, but I also have a list of all the different ingredients that I can put into my salads. Do you make your salads in advance? Yeah, basically I get all the ingredients and, you know, I'll have, before I eat, I'll make my salad that I'm going to eat, but I'll make 3 or 4 quantities of it, right? So then, you know, that's that taken care of, like, essentially. You know, for the next few days. So making bulk. Right, we really do not need too much more down here, do we? Oh, it really annoys me when it does that. I'm also eating because I need to repair my hearts, and then it's like, oh, now you got more. Oh, don't do that either. There we go. Right, we landed. And that is what I needed. I also need to get some night vision over here, just so I can see if we've got any, like, floaty blocks left. Don't want any of those gaps. Have I tried F3T? What is F3T? Pulling F3T. Don't know what you mean by that. Oh, this pick's going to need a repair before long, isn't it? Yeah, if I go down like this, I might just be able to see, are there any... Ah, we've got a ledge over here. I might just keep... it needs destroying. Will this farm produce more because of the new world height? Skyfighter, I think I answered your question on that earlier, and I said that I'd find out after the stream. Now, I don't know if I read this noise in the ear because I'm deep in the waffle again, but Booperuski, I'm pretty sure we didn't... That's an awesome name. Booperuski, thank you for subscribing. Tier 1 right there, greatly appreciated. A popular summer salad in Austria is a salad with pumpkin seed oil, dressing and sour cream. Heavenly. I do like the sour cream. I've had a fair bit of that. In fact, I have some with my meal today. Oh wait, why am I filling this in? That's all going to get destroyed. Doesn't make any sense. One thing I did cook the other day was a cooked salad with croutons in it, and like, what did it have? Butternut, squash, red onion, cherry tomatoes, that kind of thing, like a hot salad, like a literal hot salad, and all the rocket got kind of like melted up in it with some cheese. Dang, that was scrumptious. Yeah, you might be able to tell I enjoy my cooking and I enjoy my food. Right, there we go. I think that's all I'm going to do there. A hot salad, says Carls. No, it was. I literally cooked it in the pan, right? Peppers, onions cooking up in the pan, some butternut squash in the oven, mix it all together with a few other things, and came out hot. Maybe try cooked salmon in the salad. It works great with lettuce. That does sound delicious, and I probably have, but probably like not in a while. It's not something I tend to do, is like cook up some fresh meat and chuck it in a salad. But dang, that sounds good. Right, we're going to wrap this one here. Extra long stream for you because I felt like doing a bit more with the digging. Goodness me. Thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. Thanks to all my patrons, the mods, the peeps gifting the subs. Yola, appreciated. And be sure to hit that follow button before you head out of there. If you do want to stick around and be a part of a raid, I'm just trying to figure out who we can raid right now. We've got Scar, we've got Tango. I'm going to send you over to Tango today, since his nether hub destroyed me. You can tell him how much it destroyed me, peeps. Yeah. Okay, you can hit the follow button, then the raid button in chat, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.